This is Your Life, the program for all America, brought to you by Gentle Joy, the dishwashing liquid that gentles your hands. The liquid that's made to be mild 3 times a day. And Liquid Prel, the shampoo that's extra rich to drench your hair in luxury. And now, here he is, Mr. This Is Your Life himself, Ralph Edwards.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm in a corridor at our NBC studios, and I want you to meet our principal subject as he was on a day in October of 1945 when President Harry S. Truman bestowed on him our nation's highest award for valor, the Congressional Medal of Honor. He's unique in the military history of America because he won this honor in battle, even though he himself never carried a gun or weapon of any kind. The Army listed him as a conscientious objector. Now let's go in and meet this hero.
8 or 9 enemy positions, as I remember, and there was only one pillbox left. It was giving us trouble.
Well, excuse me, please, for breaking in. My name's Ralph Edwards, and right now we're on television, coast to coast. You were invited by the Southern California Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists to make a filmed talk here of some of your Army experiences as a training aid for their medical cadet corps. Well, we want to help you relive your inspiring story through the eyes and words of some of the actual people involved. As I say to you, Desmond T. Doss of Rising Fawn, Georgia, World War II Congressional Medal of Honor winner, whose only weapons were his conscience and deep inner convictions. Tonight, this is your life. Desmond, good to see you. That book's important to you. You carry that a lot. Our thanks to you, Clark Smith of the General Conference. How do you do, Mr. Smith? And to you, Des Cummings of the Southern California Conference of the Seventh-day Adventists for helping us to get Desmond T. Doss to California. And our thanks also to the 307th Infantry Veterans Association of World War II. How are you, Des? Well, Desmond, will you please accompany me to our This Is Your Life studio? And while we're on our way, here's Bob Warren with a word about joy.
If you're concerned about keeping your hands nice, here's news that will bring some joy into your life.
I am sick and tired of sticking my poor hands in hot dishwater 3 times a day.
But you have to.
I do. But do they have to look like this? Look at them. No, don't. I'm ashamed.
Your hands need today's joy, the liquid that's made to be mild 3 times a day. With joy, it's like treating your hands to a sink full of mildness.
Oh, come on now.
All right. Would you mind sticking your hands in a bubble bath 3 times a day?
No.
Today's joy is exactly that mild. Mild as a bubble bath. Wash your dishes with it for a while and see. Care to show me your hands now?
Proudly.
See? There isn't a dishwashing pair of hands in the world that doesn't need today's joy, made to be mild 3 times a day.
Here is our Chair of Honor, Congressional Medal of Honor winner, Desmond Doss. Please sit down. Des, we have many surprises in store for you. This is your life. Desmond, Henry D. Thoreau once described the man who, despite opposition, is determined to live according to his own conscience. He wrote, "If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it's because he hears a different drummer. Let him keep pace with the music he hears." You are one man who dared to be different.
Doss was so different that in 1944, when our regiment was in Hawaii, I considered sending him back to the States for non-combat duty.
Yes, Desmond, he was commander of your battalion, the 1st Battalion, 307th Infantry, 77th Division, here from Winter Haven, Florida, where he is co-owner and operator of Charlie Orr's Outboard Marina, is retired Colonel Gerald Cooney. When you were in Hawaii, why did you consider sending Desmond Doss back to the United States, Colonel Cooney?
Well, You know, that was our last chance to weed out the few men that we felt were unfit for combat duty. Now, you know, Doss was a medic. And, you know, the fighting in the Pacific was so deadly and treacherous that we even had to arm our medics. Now, Doss, being a conscientious objector, you know, he had such a strict feeling about his religion that he refused to take weapons training. And the fact of the matter is, he wouldn't even touch a rifle. And naturally, I was concerned for his own safety.
Well, what made you change your mind, Colonel?
Well, his company commander, he knew Doss real well and understood him much better than the rest of us. He finally convinced me that Doss could be depended upon. And I certainly am grateful to his late company commander, our Captain Vernon, for keeping me from making a big mistake.
Thank you. Colonel Gerald Cooney of Winter Haven, Florida. Your faith, your deep-rooted principles, your refusal to compromise with your conscience, and your compassion for suffering, which are to help make you a living legend of the 77th Division, finds their beginnings in your childhood. When and where were you born, Desmond?
In Lynchburg, Virginia, February the 7th, 1919.
You're the second of three children born to William T. and Bertha Doss. Early in your life, you become deeply interested in your religion.
Des, as a member of the Missionary Volunteers of a Young People's Society, you began to learn how to take care of the sick.
Des, you used to avoid fighting with the other boys, but it wasn't because you was afraid of getting hurt.
Yes, Desmond, here from Lynchburg, Virginia, is your sister Audrey, Mrs. Lawson Milner, and from Manassas Park, Virginia, here's your brother Harold Doss. And look over there, another surprise. Here from Lynchburg, Virginia, are your father and mother, William T. and Bertha Doss. Now, you said Desmond avoided fights when he was a boy, Harold?
Yes, but he could be pushed just too far. I remember once we were running and from 6 boys, and suddenly Desmond just stopped, and he says, "They just can't do that to us."
The other boys stopped too, didn't they?
Oh, yes, they suddenly stopped, but when they saw that determined look, they just slowly walked away.
Desmond always wanted to help others. As a member of the Young People's Society at our church, he always liked to visit the sick and carry them flowers and the old folks' home. And on many occasions, I mean, he has given blood donations. And of course, he gave free service as night nurse to the ones that couldn't afford it.
I remember there was an elderly man that he was particularly fond of that was in a hospital 3 miles away.
Sometimes he walked both ways to care for him and to sit up with him night after night.
The spiritual faith, selflessness, and compassion of the boy are later to help make a hero of the man. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. William T. Doss, Sister Audrey, Mrs. Lawson Milner, Brother Harold Doss. You'll see them later, Desmond, at the party in your honor at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, where your family and friends from out of town have been staying. 1935, a depression year. You decide to leave school, go to work. A mutual interest in your church draws you and a certain young lady together. You fall in love, and on August 17th, 1942, you and Dorothy Schutte are married in Richmond, Virginia. But before that happy event, Desmond, when we enter World War II on December 7th, 1941, what work are you doing?
I was working in Newport News shipyard, Newport News, Virginia.
You're also taking training in the Medical Cadet Corps of your denomination. April 1st, 1942, you're inducted into the Army at Camp Lee, Virginia. Your classification is 1AO. Now, what does that mean, Desmond?
Non-combatant. We believe in serving our country in any way possible other than having to take life.
Yes. Or, as the Army described it, a conscientious objector. You become a medic but you refuse to compromise with the strict tenets of your religion. You constantly request passes on Saturday, your Sabbath, even on maneuvers, so that you might attend church off post. You do this even though you must work 24 hours on Sunday to make up for it. You refuse even to touch a weapon when you're attached to combat units, and this leads some officers to try to secure you a Section 8 discharge. Now, what is a Section 8 discharge?
Well, I understand it means I was just getting off above.
Mentally or emotionally disturbed,
right.
Is that right?
Although,
Briefly, sir.
Although the major said not necessarily meant that, but I was just a little too strict on my religion.
Well, briefly, what did you say to your superior officer when you were told this discharge was in process?
Well, I told him that I didn't feel like I was much of a Christian, that I could accept a discharge off my religion, and I couldn't accept it.
Mm-hmm. And the Pentagon accepts your reasoning, and you're not discharged. But many officers and men still consider you a shirker. And when the time comes for the 307th to get into action on Guam, they're to discover how wrong they were. We'll learn about this in a moment. Right now, a word about dreams.
Every woman has her dreams, lovely dreams of luxury and beauty. For instance, here's a dream of luxury meant especially for you.
How does it feel to drench yourself in luxury? How does it feel to drench yourself in luxury? You'll know when you discover Liquid Prel, the extra-rich shampoo. Liquid Prel makes the most luxurious lather your hair has ever known. Thousands upon thousands of radiant beauty drops nourish the beauty of your hair. Luxurious? Yes. Liquid Prel is extra-rich and very different from those thin, watery shampoos. Liquid Prel. Extra-rich, and the color of liquid emeralds leaves your hair shimmering, sparkling, luxuriously clean. Use Liquid Prel and know how it feels to drench yourself in luxury.
He says, I'm still shaking. This is worse than combat, he says. Now back to This Is Your Life. Desmond T. Doss, recorded as the only conscientious objector to win the Congressional Medal of Honor. 1944, as Colonel Gerald Cooney, your battalion commander in the 307th Infantry, has already told us, in spite of your refusal even to touch a weapon, he decides in Hawaii to permit you to accompany your regiment into combat as a medic. On July 24th, 1944, the 307th Infantry lands on White Beach to Guam. Here in the midst of fierce and dirty jungle fighting, tropical downpours that soak into steaming bodies and mud that clutches like glue, time after time under heavy fire and in exposed areas, you drag the wounded to safety.
I saw many instances of Desmond Doss's unbelievable courage.
He was a lieutenant in the company to which you were attached, Desmond, Company B. And here from Sacramento, California, where he owns and operates the Midtown Auto Supply Company, is Onless C. Brister. Now, Guam was a turning point in changing the opinion of the officers and men about Desmond Doss. Isn't that so, Onless?
It was, Ralph. What Doss did on Guam, he was not only accepted, but he was admired for his unbelievable courage. I saw instances when we were pinned down. It was unbelievable that anyone could come out alive. Yet, time after time, he would go out without weapons, without orders, sometimes even against orders, and tend to the wounded and bring them back. It was a miracle that he was not hit.
Desmond also gave spiritual help to his buddies, didn't he, Onless?
He certainly did, yes. When we were about to go into combat, he would get down and say his prayers. Many of us would say them along with him. Knowing that he was there gave us an unbelievable amount of courage.
Thank you, Onless C. Brister of Sacramento, California. As a prelude to the tests that are to follow, on December 7th, 1944, your regiment makes a surprise beach landing at Armac, Leyte, the Philippines. For your outstanding courage on Leyte, you're awarded the Bronze Star. Near the end of April 1945, your regiment, Desmond, is in Okinawa, committed to some of the bloodiest, fiercest fighting of the Pacific War. The entire advance of the American forces is held up by the enemy, dug into caves, tunnels, and pillboxes on the Maida Escarpment. Now, what was the Maida Escarpment, Desmond?
Well, it was a cliff where the top stuck out more than what it was down below. Mm-hmm. And it was...
How high?
Well, I sometimes think the Army gives a little more than what I estimate it to be. I think they estimate from around about 50 to 125 feet. That means 75. But I didn't think it was more than maybe 30 feet, maybe where we went up and down the rope cargo net that we put up to scale up and down the cliff.
Yes. Well, it was almost solid coral, wasn't it?
That's right. And then it was flat on top, sort of a flat top. And it was very rugged.
B Company, what were you going to say?
The terrain was very rugged. What looked like might be natural terrain, I mean, might be enemy position was natural. What might look harmless was quite often enemy positions.
Yes, B Company, to which you're attached, is one of the units ordered to take the escarpment.
And it was on that escarpment that Desmond Doss performed his most memorable feats of courage.
Now a private investigator for the state of Arizona and co-owner of the Fact Finder, here from Phoenix, Arizona, is Captain Jack Glover. You were at the company command post when B Company was ordered to make the attack, weren't you, Captain Glover?
Yes, Ralph, I was. The late Company B commander, Captain Vernon, told Doss, and I believe at that time Doss was reading his Bible down below us, that he was the only medic left in the battalion. He knew it was his Sabbath day, but he wanted to know if he would go with us. And he said if you'd give him a few more minutes, he would be with us, and he did.
Mm-hmm. Well, what happened when the attack was made, Captain Glover?
Well, we fought many days on the escarpment there. They put cargo nets up so that we could get up it. And during the day, we'd get a foothold on the top, and then we'd get kicked off again. And we had such intense enemy fire that at one time we had so many casualties that we had to leave some behind. We had to give orders to withdraw. There was one able-bodied man that refused to withdraw, and that was Doss.
And as the official citation reads, Private Doss refused to seek cover and remained in the fire-swept area with the many stricken, carrying them one by one to the edge of the escarpment and there lowering them on a rope-supported litter down the face of a cliff to friendly hands. How many men did Desmond Doss save in this way, Captain Glover?
About 75, Ralph. I think it was the most heroic deed that I have ever seen.
But this is not the end of your heroism, Desmond.
And I can testify to that.
Yes, he was a private first class in Company B, and you haven't seen him in 15 years, Desmond. Here from Broseley, Missouri, where he's a farmer and a bus driver for Fisk Schools, is Fred Carr. Fred Carr. Well, now, after Desmond Doss's exploit, fierce fighting continued on the escarpment, didn't it, Fred?
Yes, it did, Ralph. I saw Doss repeatedly go out among heavy enemy fire and bring the wounded back to safety. And on May the 2nd, Doss, when I was wounded in the face, you gave me a morphine shot and bandaged my head and led me back to that cargo net.
5 days later, I was wounded very seriously in the left lung and left knee, and Doss was the only medic left at that time. He came down and gave me courage and dressed my wound, gave first aid to the other 3 men that were hit with me. He sent us back, and he remained there under fire. Doss, I owe you my life.
Thank you, Captain Jack Glover. And former PFC, Fred Carr. The escarpment is finally taken. On May 21st, Desmond, you are seriously injured by a hand grenade. As litter bearers are carrying you to the rear, you're caught in an enemy tank attack. And seeing a more critically wounded man, you crawl off the litter and direct the bearers to give their attention to the other soldier. This with 17 pieces of shrapnel in your body. While you're awaiting aid, a sniper's bullet smashes through your arm. And yet you crawl 300 yards to the aid station. Hospitalized, you're brought back to the United States. On October 12, 1945, for your deeds on the escarpment and elsewhere on Okinawa, President Truman decorates you, Desmond T. Doss, with a Congressional Medal of Honor. Although the war is over for you, Desmond, there's a treacherous enemy that will attack from within, and you'll need all your courage to overcome it. We'll learn about this in a few moments. But first, Bob Warren would like to tell us something about Gleam. Bob?
Thank you, Ralph. You know, I don't think there's anyone seeing our show tonight who won't admit that in their own life they often don't do all the things they know they should do. Now take this mother and her little girl. They know they should brush their teeth after eating. And so does this man. But like most of us, they can't always brush. That's why they use Gleam, the toothpaste for people who can't brush after every meal. You see, just one Gleam brushing destroys decay and odor-causing bacteria. Look here. See? Only Gleam has GL70. And here's scientific proof of Gleam's effectiveness. This is an actual photomicrograph of mouth bacteria before brushing. Now look, how one Gleam brushing destroys most of these bacteria. Yes, destroys decay bacteria, and for most people stops mouth odor all day. So, take it from us. Use Gleam, the toothpaste for people who can't brush after every meal.
Thank you, Bob Warren. Thank you. There's a tablet in bronze on Okinawa, Desmond Doss, a monument to your heroic deeds on the Maida Escarpment. There's a symbolic monument to you in the name of the camp of your denomination in Michigan, where young men who train for medical service are there. Camp Desmond T. Doss. And there's a living monument to you in your son, born on September 15th, 1946, and here from Rising Fawn, Georgia, are your wife, Dorothy, and 12-year-old Tommy. Come on out here, Tommy and Dorothy. Now, Dorothy, you go over there and sit down by Des, and Tommy, pull up a chair here. Oh, boy, we really surprised Dad, didn't we?
Sure did.
Yeah, we sure did. What was this enemy that confronted your husband in 1946, Dorothy?
It was discovered that Desmond had tuberculosis, and he was in Veterans Hospitals on and off for 5.5 years.
Before your case is finally arrested, Desmond, it's found necessary to remove a lung and 5 ribs. In August 1951, you're discharged with a 90% disability. On your modest pension, you pick up the threads of civilian life. And then in 1954, wanting a permanent home for your little family, you buy 5 acres in Rising Fawn, Georgia, and cash in your life insurance to help fix it up a bit. You live in a small log cabin on your place, and you till the ground, raise food. What do you raise there, Tommy?
Oh, we have a few fruit trees and some grapevines, and we have...
Got some berries there. What kind of berries you got?
Boysenberries and strawberries.
Oh, man, I'll bet Mom makes some wonderful pies out of those, doesn't she? Huh?
Sure does.
Sure does. Well, now, what else you got there?
Oh, well, we raise corn and garden vegetables for our own use, and we also have some trees for timber.
Well, we know, Des, that... come on, gang, come on up and join the little family here now. We know, Des, that you've been wanting to enlarge your little log cabin. Where is Fred Carr? He's a farmer, too. Fred just had... he's proud... he's very happy tonight. He just got word that 14 pigs were born back at his place. That right, Fred? Everything doing fine? Oh, that's good. He's just as proud. How's the mother doing? Good. Well, we know, Des, that you've been wanting to enlarge your little log cabin. Cutting trees with your handsaw is rough work. Well, Joy has for you this Wright Super Rebel gasoline power saw that'll cut trees down in no time at all. And to help you in the actual construction work, Joy will see to it that you get the modern DeWalt power shop, which in less than a minute makes it possible for you to change it from a power saw to 15 other power tools, all in one machine. With this DeWalt power shop, you'll get various accessory tools which will make your building projects easier, more efficient. Now, you can keep a filmed record of your building progress with this Bell & Howell 16mm electric eye movie camera and show it as well as your film on tonight's show on your Bell & Howell sound projector. Now, we know you have your eye on 10 acres you hope to add to your farm someday so you can produce food for sale. And you want a cow so Tommy can have fresh milk, and you'll also, you'd like some chickens. Well, we'd like to see that you have these things, Desmond. So Joy has for you this check to make all this possible right now. Now, you'll want a tractor in tip-top condition to work that extra land, and the one you now have was not only bought second-hand, but seen far better days. So Joy has for you this brand-new Wheel Horse Ride-Away, the perfect tractor for making it easier to work that land of yours with attachments. You want and need the disc harrow, a garden seeder, a cultivator, plow, and the two-wheel dump trailer. Desmond, now, you've never given up. You've never given up, but your old car is just about to. Well, Joy has contacted the Edsel division of the Ford Motor Company, and the Edsel people are interested in your future on the farm, so they want you to have this 1959 Edsel Villager station wagon. You'll find the Edsel station wagon roomy, both as a passenger car for hauling produce and materials. Best of all, powerful as its engine is, it's easy on the gas and will take you wherever you want to go with a maximum of safety and economy. How about that, Des? We know you and your family will enjoy your Edsel for many years to come. Now, as a personal memento of tonight's occasion, Bob Warren, where are you? Dorothy, Marshall Jewelers of Fifth Avenue, New York, have specially created this gold charm bracelet for you. And for your memento, Tommy, we have this 21-jewel gold wristwatch from Marshall. How about that, boy? That's good. Sheep that out of the potato patch now. Not poison berries, huh? That's for you. Your greatest memorial, Des, is in the hearts of all your countrymen who, as long as America is America, will honor the man of strong faith and of physical and moral courage, the man who keeps pace with the music he hears. This is your life. Congressional Medal of Honor winner, Desmond T. Doss. Good night, and God bless you.
Our out-of-town guests are flown to Hollywood via TWA's luxurious Jetstream non-stop service, coast to coast and overseas. Fly the finest. Fly TWA Jetstream service. This Is Your Life has been presented by Gleam in tubes and new push-button pack, the toothpaste for people who can't brush after every meal, and Liquid Prel, the shampoo that's extra rich to drench your hair in luxury.
Bob Warren, thank you. February is American Heart Month, so we thought you might be interested in a letter we've received from Jesse Stewart, that great American literary man, a heart patient at one time and a principal subject on our program last year. Now, he says in part, regarding the farm tools given me on This Is Your Life, we raised, my brother-in-law and nephew, approximately 4,000 bushels of corn last summer, also 4,000 bales of hay, besides the other things, and the tractor did all the work. Now, we're happy for you, Jesse, and pass this information on to our audience as an illustration of the tremendous productivity possible on the part of a man who had a serious heart attack himself. So protect your heart and the hearts of those you love. Fight heart disease today by giving to your Heart Fund. Next week, we bring you a whole new assortment of adventures as lived by one of the most surprising, unexpected personalities we've ever presented to you. Be with us then next week. Good night. Thank you, ladies.
This Is Your Life is a Ralph Edwards production, produced by Axel Gruenberg and directed by Richard Gottlieb.